You may take a look at my team and be thinking that I'm running 4 supports. How could I possibly clear the abyss in a super good time competing with some of my best teams' times? With the capabilities of these 4 characters together, a little bit of build swapping, we get something that's actually quite unique, interesting, fun, good, and honestly, I think is my go-to team from now on. Now, let me get into what makes this team so good. Looking at the characters on this team, we know that Bennett Kazuha make a really solid team for a lot of different characters. Hyper teams that use these two, international with Shangling and Child. There's a lot of other characters, even like Ayaka, who can utilize both of these characters to get use in teams. Now, Furina, which we know has off-field Hydro, pretty decent damage, and her burst buffs characters, but you really need a solid healer on your team. So we have Jean. Jean is probably the best, if not one of the best, supports paired with Furina. How does combining these characters actually work? Well, let me show you my build to give you an idea as to why. We have Furina, who buffs everybody's damage through her burst. We have Jean to get you more stacks of fanfare, as well as shredding resistances. We have Bennett on Instructor, as well as giving a bunch of attack percent through his burst. And we have Kazuha, who through his second ascension gives us elemental damage. And on top of it, Jean with her C4 shreds animo resistance. How does this all come together? Well, the game plan is to pop Furina's abilities, use Bennett's burst, proccing your Instructor, using Jean to swirl, as well as shredding resistances, Kazuha to group enemies, as well as doing a bunch of damage. Wait, what do you mean Kazuha does a bunch of damage? Well, I have him on a semi-hybrid build, and as you can see, he's on the Mist Splitter, and he's on 2-piece Viridescent and 2-piece Golden Troop. I have his C1, which helps with this, and he's also triple crown. Let's take a look at his artifacts. I have some really good pieces which allow him to do some insane damage. Here are his stats. Honestly, I didn't expect it to be as good as it is. Before we get started, let me know which teams you use that aren't conventional, super popular, or also well known. I want to see if there's any teams that I haven't heard of or teams that I have that I can give a try, because honestly, discovering a new team like this one is one of the best things for me in this game in a long time. One of the strongest points of this new Kazuha team is the fact that they play so well off of each other and buff each other so well. Jean typically wants to be on Favonius, and allowing your characters to get their burst back, as well as giving a bunch of healing for Furina's kit, while also getting Sunfire, the insane amount of damage just that everybody gives. It's so nice. It is a little circle impacty because not only do you have Bennett's burst, but you also have Jean's, but that's okay because this team just clears so easily. And some of my clear times are honestly faster than a lot of my other teams. Like my Freeze Ayaka, which honestly has some of the better times for AoE because of the amount of investment I put into her, is still kind of falling behind in comparison to the Kazuha team. Now, that team still kind of struggles with energy a tad because Ayaka is just so energy hungry, but its raw damage and its output makes clearing super easy. One of my favorites, international with Child. I love this team so much. Shangling is just a blast to play. Child with the battle pass weapon helps you group even after and not having Kazuha on field. This team, a little more so than the Ix team, struggles with energy because Shangling is just, she prefers to have like the national team where you can swap to Bennett and use his E to farm her burst back up. But this team just has such a high damage potential and burst and front loaded damage that makes it a good speed running team. And it doesn't really matter if you're not getting your burst back because you're just killing everything that fast. And then we have my Raiden Yai hybrid, which is one of the teams that I highlighted in my last video, the one showcasing my Yai Miko. And this one has good times as well, but on top of that, it has good energy generation, it has sustainable damage, and the characters do play well off of each other. I would say probably about as good as this new team I have now, with their cooldowns lining up super good. Whenever somebody goes off field, there's somebody else doing damage. Yai giving a lot of stacks to Raiden, Raiden giving a lot of energy to Yai, which both of them heavily want and need, as well as Bennett Kazuha buffing their team's damage in a way that nobody else does. But I think this Kazuha team is just second to none. It's just so unbelievably consistent. Its potential is high. You can run Kazuha on Marichose, and if I butchered that, I'm sorry, giving him a bunch of crit rate. If you have these characters, if you have them built, if you have their constellations, specifically Jean, give it a try. This team will be super flexible with different weapons, with slightly different artifact sets, and honestly, that's about it, guys. Thank y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to give it a like, and if you're interested in more team showcases, check out this playlist right here. Thank y'all for watching. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.